Okay, YouTube, I'm back. I'm going to do another video on the rest of my dress watches. I did one a few days ago, and these are some of my other ones that are kind of middle of the road, $200 to $400 range, maybe $500, somewhere in there. But there's a few that are interesting, so I thought I'd do a video. It's Friday, December 8th, and I'm not really doing too much of anything. I want to test out these new lights I got. I have some, they're called Cobb style lights with diffusers, and therefore, doing photography and I guess for, video, obviously. And they just provide more light. So I've got them set up. I've got them adjusted a little bit for kind of like I think it's 5K Kelvin units for kind of a whitish light. And we'll see how that goes. I have to play with it. I'm not sure how well it's going to come out, but we'll see. And then I have two cameras set up. I have this set up here. I'm looking into that. And then I have one down here on my desk, and that's for, showcasing the watches. So let's get started with the first one. It's going to be a Seiko, and here it is. You can see it. Let me put it back this way. It's a kind of, let me bring it up to it's a waffle pattern. Well, I don't know if you call that a waffle pattern. You can see the pattern on the dial. I'm not sure if that's probably not a waffle pattern, but it is, it is almost like carbon fiber, maybe. Kind of cool looking. It has blue hands. I'm sure it's like a painted blue. I mean, it's somehow they're baked on or something. It's not the blued hands where you take steel and they heat it up until it turns blue at a certain temperature, and then they quench it, they cool it. That's the real authentic blue screws and hands and stuff that they can do. These are probably painted, or somehow or another they apply the color to it, and it looks like there's like a different blue, or the edges look different from the center of the minute and hour hand. It's kind of cool looking. And then the second hand has a crescent moon on the backside, and it's also blued, I believe. And the blue look works really well. You would think some of these colors would clash, but they don't. I mean, the blue goes good with the rose gold. It just works with watches, and it's got a display back. It's a 4R35 movement. The watch is relatively thin. It's let me wipe it just a little bit because it's got fingerprints on it. It's got a beautiful rose gold case. Seiko uses a lot of these cases on a large number of their watches that are very similar to this. But Roman numerals, not complicated, just says Seiko and it says automatic. And that's really all you see down at the bottom. I think there might be something down there written, but I can't make out what it is, if there is. Like I said, it's fairly simple. And, I kind of like that. Let me adjust my seat because I keep moving this, getting off. I keep wanting to go this direction, and you got to remember to stay here with it, like that. Let me go over here. Keep it in this direction. So anyway, there's that watch. Is it nice? Yeah. So on my wrist, I'd say this is 39 millimeter. This is a triple date Omega, and I'd say this is 41 or 40 and a half, or maybe 42. So it's a larger watch, and it's slightly thicker, and it's got, I think that it's got the strap on it I really like. I like these ribs, raised ribs. It's an aftermarket strap. I don't believe it's a Seiko strap. Yeah. I don't see any markings on it. I believe it's an aftermarket I put on there. So there's that one. And then there's this one. I took the strap off already because I'm going to change it. Had a suede NATO and I don't really like it, so I'm going to change it. This is a Hamilton khaki field watch with a champagne dial. And these have been reviewed extensively on YouTube. So you could find other reviews on it if you want to know details on it. But I've had this for quite a while, this watch. And it's got a Hamilton in-house movement. The rotor is signed. It's got the insignia for the H. And it's got Hamilton written on it. And then I believe that's H644550. I think that's the movement. Because the H standing for Hamilton, I'm assuming. Beautiful watch. You can see it here. They say it's a field watch. It's got the protected crown guard. It doesn't have a screw down crown, but I think it's 100 meters. Probably water resistant. 5 bar. No, 5 bar. So that's 50 meters. It's a 39. I think looks like the same size as this one. At one point I was gonna sell this watch. And I think these are $300 to $500 now. I'm not positive, but somewhere in that range. Hamilton's you can get good money for Hamilton's. I'm gonna keep this watch because I don't know. It's just kind of cool. I don't think I'm gonna ever get rid of this one. Well, I say that, but you never know. And then I have I'll get these out of the way because these are Orients and they're very similar watches. Boy, look at that blue on the. Can you see that? I can. Look at the blue hands on that Orient. Oh. And then this one is the rose gold. Much larger. Both of these wine. So I think there's 4 generations of Orient. Excuse me. Last time I checked, but I haven't checked in a while. I mean, there could be a 5 or a 6th generation. Who knows? But each generation they would make them, I think, a little bit larger, and then the first generation you couldn't wind them; they were just automatics, and then they changed the movement, and you could wind this one. So this is a 2nd generation, I believe. But it's got the cream dial. It's got Roman numerals. It's small still, which when the Bambinos came out, they were this size. I think they were about this size, which is, it looks to be like 40 millimeters. And yeah, and so this is probably how they came out. Orients have this crystal that's raised like that on a lot of their watches and on all of the Bambinos, but also just some other watches that they make. And I really like this version. They have this gray dial with silver indices, and then what you're looking at here is the rose gold indices with a stainless steel case. Look how thin that case is. Both of them. And I just like the rose gold. I mean, I like them both, but this is what I prefer over the stainless steel, at least in this watch here. And I'm kind of glad that it's a stainless steel case and not a rose gold case. And in fact, I have an example of one. Another Orient here. I might as well bring it out because kind of combine it all together. Here's another one. Let me put this here. Put this one in here and like that. And look at that one. I mean, all of them. that's like a tuxedo. I call that the tuxedo dial because it looks like a tuxedo with the in the center there with the lines going down. I don't know. Right? That's what I call it. This has a rose gold as well. It's a taller watch. It doesn't have the same crystal. It's more of a flat crystal. It also, you can also manually wind this. It's also an automatic. It's a beautiful blue dial. And you know, I think there's another one. And then there's this one. And what, let me see if I can get these all on the screen. So, what I bought this because of the brown. I like brown dials, so I think this is the first one I bought. Actually, I bought a white one, and I don't know what happened to that. If I sold it or I gifted it, I may have gifted it. It's because it's gone. And then I think I had a blue one, and I think I sold that one on eBay or something for, you know, $75, $100. They're not that expensive. That was the first incarnation of it, you know, with the automatic movement. You couldn't manually wind it. This one here is this. I think this is a Bambino. So, excuse me. So it's a Bambino like this one. But it has the brown dial, the rose gold indices, same hands, but the rose gold case. Otherwise, it's very similar watch. Now, which one do I prefer? I guess it depends on what you're wearing. It really does. Of all of the watches, I might like this one the best, even though it's smaller. But when it comes to dress watches, you know, small is cool, you know. My second favorite, probably the gray. Because the brown looks a little flat to me. I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe the gray. This one I would just wear more of a sporty watch, probably not to go out. And this one has, I believe, this is an Orient bracelet. Yeah, because it's signed. So is this one. Because it's signed. Or at least maybe I took this off and let me see if it says Orient here. It doesn't say Orient, so I may have changed it and just kept the same clasp and everything. So there's those. Those are you know, there goes the Orients out of this little collection here. This case. Now I have Jacques Lemans, which is a Swiss manufacturer, and I really like Jacques Lemans because for the primary reason is you get a lot of bang for your buck. Because it's not a hyped up brand with a lot of brand name recognition like some of the other watches, you don't overpay for it. So you get a lot of value. It's a good watch. They have I don't know what movement they have in them now. I don't remember. And they have different movements in their watches, but this one, sapphire crystal. There's some writing on there, and they've got signage on their rotor. I don't know if it's an ETA movement. I'm not sure, but you know, it's pretty fancy. I mean, they got rotary brushing on there. It looks pretty nice. And I love the brown dial, the sunburst dial, which is exactly why I bought it. I also like the fact that, you know, it's very, very thin. You know, similar to an Orient. And Orient's thinner, but similar design. Brushed stainless steel on the sides. In fact, the whole case is brushed. And the bezel's polished. And then the indices are polished. And it does have lume on the hands, which I never understand with these dress watches where they put lume on the hands. It doesn't really make a difference. This is a beautiful watch. It really is. I for me, because I like the brown so much, especially that. So, let me get these over here. Let's get this over here. So, did I show you that one? I already showed that one. So, I don't think I showed you this one. This is Seiko. And this has, I don't think that's a Seiko. This is not a Seiko strap. No, it's aftermarket, and I really like this. But look at this black dial. It's a flat black with a, I don't know if that's a sunray dial. Is that what you call a sunray dial? The hands are, everything's rose gold in there. The indices, the Seiko name, there's the writing, the scroll work on there, automatic. But if you notice, the hands are brushed. They're not reflective. They have like a matte finish to them, which actually maybe not. It's hard to. It really plays well with the light. Oh, those hands are beautiful. I don't know if you could see it the way I'm seeing it. Well, when you could see it up close, it's just the light really accents this watch. I mean, out in sunlight, it just pops. You know, it's a beautiful watch. Again, it's a little tall, but not too much. It's got a raised crystal, slightly raised, just a little bit. When you look from the side, the crystal kind of warps it a little bit. It's beautiful. I mean, when you really study these watches up close, you can see all the detail in them. And then that's, if you get into watches, that's what really just knocks you out, And then this one, I got this simply for that blue sunburst dial. And, it came with this bracelet. It's another Jacques Le Mans with butterfly bracelet, and it's signed. This bracelet, this watch was pre-owned, so this thing came, look how thick it is. That's a big turn off. And also the other thing is, I can hardly grab this thing. That's another irritation of mine. But I got it because of that. The dial is what got me. It was missing it needed another 1 or 2 links to fit my wrist. My wrists are just over 8 inches. And I really wanted to wear it with the bracelet, so I was disappointed when I got it. There was no extra links for this. Really disappointed. Let me give you a shot of the back if I can. Because it does look nice. It's got blued screws. Is it focusing on there? And so what I did was I ended up buying another watch, and it's this one, which is this in the same line as this, right? But it's black, a black sunburst with rose gold. It's a lot lighter and a lot thinner, even though it's still a thick watch. It's thinner, and it came with a bracelet. So I just took some links off of that one, the one that came with this one, and I put it on this one to complete it, and then I just put a strap on this one, and I put the extra bracelet with the leftover in the box that it came in. And otherwise they're identical, except this is like, this has the chronograph pusher. It's got the pushers with the 3 complications. And to be honest, I wish this blue dial was on this watch. I really do. I'd prefer to wear this one over this beast. This is I don't like super heavy watches, and this one is heavy. And I don't mean just because of the bracelet. Just lifting it like this, the weight is just this part. It's just heavier than all this put together. This is you can feel this is very lightweight. This weighs a ton. It's just packed in there because of all those complications. And like I said, are the movements identical? Let's see. Well, they look a little different. Well, the rotors are different. Is there bluing on this? No. So this has a different movement, I believe. This, you know what this movement is? This is the 7751. This is the 7751, and yeah, this isn't. This is something else. So they're different movements. And the 7751 is in a, almost dropped that, is in a million watches. Like so many different lines of Swiss watches carry the 77, including Omega. Omega put them in some of their watches. They're highly respected movements. They're highly touted, but I'm not so sure that I'm a huge fan of them. I have a number of watches with them, and they're always hard to wind, and I don't know. I guess they're okay. What do I know about watchmaking and movements? Because I tried to take one apart before, and I ended up basically having to send it in and spend $1,200 to get it repaired. So believe me, I'm no expert. Now this one's got scratches. I don't think I put these on. I think it was bought like this. This is another Jacques Le Mans. And you could see the Jacques Le Mans cut out in the dial. And if you look closely, you can see the escapement moving. And on this side, if you look closely, God, my finger marks are all over. Because I put lotion on my hands because they were dry, and that's what's getting all over everything. And then this is, on this side, you probably see the balance. Yeah, you can see the balance wheel. And they made the rotor real light and cut out so you could see more of the movement, which, if that does it for you. It's interesting that they do this because, when you're wearing a watch, you can't see this. The only time you could see this is when you're just doing this. Otherwise, for the most part, you can't. You're not going to see it unless they put it on the front of the watch, which they do in some of them. But I don't like looking at that. I mean, I do like seeing it on the back. I guess that's why. But you don't, like I said, when you're wearing it, it's gone. But this is a large watch. I have large wrists, so I can wear it. But, and it's not heavy either. For such a large watch, it's very lightweight. I'm not sure what movement that is. I could look it up. But very small crown. Again, I mean, look at this crown. It's like, excuse me. Look at this crown. Look at the crown right here. Look at the crown. I mean, I can't hardly turn that. I wish they would put larger crowns on it. I don't have small hands. I have this watch. It's not that interesting. It's a Seiko. It's got a cool color though. 4R35 movement. These cases are on so many of their Seikos. They make so many of this style of watch. Seiko does. They just they just, they make them for days. I mean, just so many different styles that are, they're similar, but they're different colors. I never understand why they do the bezel, mark out the bezel, and you can't even turn this bezel. Makes no sense at all. I don't know what category this watch fits in. I guess this is just an everyday wearer watch. It doesn't. You could wear it as a dress watch. Yeah, you could. You could also just wear it as an everyday casual watch. But could you wear it as a field watch or a sports watch? I guess you could. It's easy to read. That's what it's got going for it. But as far as loom goes, there's a loom on the hands, and that's it. The indices are not loomed, so in low light, you're not going to really see much of anything. So there's that, and I think, I have one more. That's this one. I forgot this one is really special. I forgot I had this until I was cleaning up this morning, and then I just rediscovered it. It was just in this little satchel thing, this little, whatever you call it, Civil War watch. You can see it's been hand carved with the Confederate flag, the Union flag, the war start date and stop date, 1861 to 65, a drummer boy, and a cannon. I mean, a commemorative watch. I think I got this in Tennessee on an archaeological dig, if I remember correctly. Let's open it up. I didn't know they made quartz watches back in 1861. No, this is just, I got this in Tennessee, I believe. It's, I think it needs a battery. It's a cheap watch. It's, yeah. As soon as I say that, it just comes apart. It'd be good for a little kid. I think I got it when you go on the incline in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They have Lookout Mountain, which has an historical story behind it. It's where the Confederate soldiers were staked out because it's the highest point in the area, and they were watching for when the Union soldiers rolled into the valley there, so they could basically spy on them and watch their path, and then call out to their soldiers, I guess through a courier, where they're at and when to attack, and then from the hill they could watch the whole battle take place, and they had a fantastic, a historic battle there. I'm sure many lives were lost, and so there's some museums, and one or two museums. I think there's one up on Lookout Mountain. They have that tram or railway thing that goes up. It's really the steepest incline. They call it the incline rail or something like that. We went in that thing. It goes up that steep hill, and up there, there's you can go into. I think it's a little museum you can go into. It's pretty interesting. All the Civil War stuff in the South, I've seen some of it, not all of it. I want to see more. I find it fascinating. It's nothing like getting your history from just being there and seeing it all, and seeing the weapons used, and just what the soldiers had, and it's such a rich part of our history, and an intense part of our history, where you fought your countrymen. It just blows my mind. Anyway, so I'm gonna wrap it up. This was just a little bit of a joke. I forgot I had this. I think I'll try to throw a battery in it and give it to my grandson, and then he can break it. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. You know, I just do this as a hobby. I'm going to get into it more because I'm just a beginner. I'm a newbie. But as it progresses, if you know, even though I don't have, you know, a lot of subscribers because I just started, whether I get them or not, it's not the point. The point is, it just kind of gives me an artistic expression, you know, an outlet for my artistic expression. And I would, you know, it's like picking up another hobby, which, you know, I was looking to do. And so I'm kind of getting my feet wet with it, and I enjoy doing it. And I'm going to, you know, progress just like anybody would as I do it more and more. I'll try to get better at it. So again, thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Okay, bye.